Good evening to everyone. Shivnada University, Shivnada schools, Vidyagan schools, and all the faculty and most of all the students from across the Shivnada Foundation. Welcome to the Shivnada University Eminent Speaker Series. It's also a huge privilege for me to welcome today an incredible personality. I have done a few of these series, but none bigger than the personality we have today for you. She has many, many firsts to her life and her career. She is firstly a doctor. She's a surgeon, but she's also a uniformed officer of the Air Force. And she also went on to be India's first female air marshal. She's traveled to many parts of the world. That includes the South Pole. And there are so many other parts to her that you will discover as we have this conversation. I think before I stand between you and our personality of the day, let me welcome on stage Air Marshal Padma Bandopadhya, AVSM, PVSM, BSM. Welcome to the Shivnada Foundation Speaker Series, ma'am.
Good evening and thanks to everyone. And I'm really honored to be a part of the Eminent Speakers Series. I would like to thank Mrs. Kiran Nada, Sri Shiv Nada, founder of HCL, Shivnada University, Shivnada School, Vidyagyan School, and Shivnada Foundation. I also want to thank Mrs. Roshni Malhotra, Chairman of HCL, and Mr. Shekhar Malhotra, the Pro-Chancellor of Shivnada University. I want to thank all the students here, from the school students to college students to all technical students who are going to listen to me, and I wish them all the very best as we go by. And last but not the least, I want to thank Colonel Gopal, my Fauji Bhai, the Executive Director of Shivnada University and Shivnada School, and my naughty sons, Professor Kaushik Chaudhary and Rakesh Ganguly. Thanks a lot. I wish I could meet you all, but because of this situation, it's a meeting like this. But I hope we enjoy the meeting, and it will be a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, to be with us today. It's indeed a huge privilege, huge honor for all of us to have you with us. We, of course, wish you were here at our wonderful campus. It's today a lovely sunny evening, and we have a lovely new auditorium. And surely in the future, we will still like to meet you in person. Meanwhile, we would have this conversation with you, and the students could, of course, and all of us who are watching could put in questions in the chat box as they go along. But, ma'am, you have done so many incredible things in your life, and I must tell the audience that we've had such fun in the pre-meetings, just putting this conversation together with Dr. Kaushik and Dr. Rakesh and everyone else, and we keep discovering more and more things about you. So I'd like you to start, I'll put a brief slide in between so that the audience can see a little bit, because you had this delightful talk earlier about tailoring to becoming a medical surgeon. So I'd like to just in between throw these little slides at everyone. So I think we love you to talk about that early part of your life, of your childhood, and how from, do let us know about your childhood and how from there you went on to do medicine. So from tailoring to medical school, do tell us about this part of your journey.
Yes. When I passed my 11th class, that is Delhi Board Higher Secondary, Well, I never knew that I could study also, but anyway, but they said that I topped the Delhi board with 65%, unheard of in the Delhi history, in the arts group. Now, those days called arts group, today it is humanities group. Okay. That my subjects were English, economics, history, Tamil, and Sanskrit. Wonderful. But unfortunately, I was underaged by 2 months. Delhi had a cutoff of some August or something like that. Oh, my mother was very, very happy. She said, बहुत अच्छा है, लड़की है, सिलाई कढ़ाई सीखेगी तो शादी के लिए अच्छा हो जाएगा. So right in front of the house was the tailoring school, Usha Tailoring School. So I was admitted there. 6 months fees also paid, prepaid. Okay. Now, unfortunate part of my life was, not my life. In those days, I couldn't speak Hindi, zero. I can't even understand. Though I'm from Delhi, but I can understand English, but I can't speak. The only language I spoke was Tamil and nothing else. Because I studied in a Tamil school. Teachers spoke in Tamil, I spoke in Tamil. My relatives were all Tamilians. So, well, I never played with any North Indian boys. It was not allowed, no questions. So that was the reason I didn't know any Hindi. Anyway, doesn't matter. I went to the tailoring school. Now the fun starts. The teacher was a Punjabi lady. Now she doesn't know Hindi or English. Of course, Tamil is nowhere near the language. So she went on saying Turpai karo. Now I didn't know what was Turpai. I didn't know at all what it means. You see. Well, first of all, you are a young girl dreaming to go to college, nicely decked up and go. And here I'm doing some stupid paper or something. And then she used to say, ek bata do, ek bata teen. I didn't understand anything over that batas, butas, something like that. I was wondering what to do. They were all married ladies, you see, young married ladies, who were very wonderstruck at how the hell I don't know anything. I don't know anything because my mother was not at home up to my 8th class. So there was no lady to tell me anything. I didn't learn anything. So the 10th day, the only Hindi I could speak was Namaste. So I folded the paper, I put it on a table. I said a big Namaste and I came back. That was the end of my tailoring school. What I felt very offended was that the teacher used to tell in Punjabi. Now I talk in Punjabi. That's a different way. She said, "Kudi कहती है कि ट्यूशन में पास की है ना तुरपाई जानती है ना दौड़ जानती है." It means
couldn't hear the last part, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll say go slowly. Kudi मैंने girl. कुड़ी कहती है मैंने she's telling first division में पास की है मैंने she passed in first division. Okay. ना तुरपाई जानती है, she doesn't know me. ना bobbin जानती है, there's a equipment, the tailoring machine is the bobbin, where you put the thread and put it in. I had enough. I said, I can't tell her that I didn't learn all these things in school, because I can't speak Hindi. So I said, okay.
And how did then suddenly the transition happen to allow you to study medicine?
That's it. I did a namaste, came back. But when I was a small child, the doctory thing was always in my mind because my mother was in the hospital. Initially I looked after her, then she was in Southern Hospital because in those days AIMS didn't exist in Delhi. So we used to go and look her up, and then they used to wear the white coat wala doctors used to come. So as a child I used to dream, hum bhi doctor banega. But doctor aisa banna pata nahi tha. Because there was no Google Baba in those days, to tell you everything. I didn't know anything. And right in front of my house was Professor Padmavati's house, the icon of medicine, Dr. S. Padmavati. She was a lady Harding, I'm from Delhi. So I used to stand in front of her house. My name is also S. Padmavati, So I used to dream, wow, I'm becoming a doctor with a white coat and all that stuff. It's all a dream. I never spoke to anybody because, maybe people may or may not understand. We never spoke to our fathers directly. It was through mother it used to go. We never even looked at our father's face, no questions, Father is something like a lion to keep him separately. Through mother, information will go. So I never told anything. Now this fiasco was very bad. Amma felt very bad. Now what to do? I said, forget it. So I told my father, I want to become a doctor. Now the poor gentleman They're all humanities people, no MA history, MA economics, like that. Nothing of science.
What did your mother and father do?
My father was in
What
government, central government service. He retired as deputy secretary.
and which part of Delhi did you stay
Gold
in?
market. But now, no, gold
Gold
market
market.
only. My school was right there.
And and which years did you do medicine and which college?
Well, I passed out in 1960 from a school, was underaged. I joined the famous and the college which I'm very proud of, that is Armed Forces Medical College. I'm from AFMC, the second batch of AFMC. Okay.
Second batch of
Yeah,
AFMC.
I'm very proud to be a part of that institution. It's a great institution.
And still one of the absolutely the top medical college in India.
True. And so even on the medical college, it's a holistic development of a person. I mean, my own life, I joined, now you ask me, how did I become a doctor? How did I become a doctor? I told my father. So poor man went up and down all the colleges. They all laughed at him. क्या है हिस्ट्री से economics से कोई science पढ़ता है today you are talking about people not having engineering group and joining engineering. That there's a talk now which I did some almost 60 years back. Okay, so there was one physics gentleman at Kirodimal College in Delhi. There was only North Campus. There was no South Campus in those days. So he said he happened to Mr. Subramaniam. थोड़ा बहुत उनको लगा कि ये मद्रासी है, ये कुछ तो हेल्प करना है. No, that maybe it was. He said if she can do well in arts, why can't she do in science? Let us give her a chance. If she doesn't do it, she'll fail. She'll go back. As simple as that. Nothing is going to happen. Fine. So I joined pre-medical at the famous Kirodimal College. The fame of Kirodimal College, Amitabh Bachchan ji is also from Kirodimal College. You see, so we are very famous college. So I studied. The worst,
Was he in college with you?
yeah, not in this my side. He was the other side.
But he was in college.
We were in the
Right.
same time. Around the same time we were there. At the same time. Okay. So after that, the subject which I struggled max was chemistry. You see, I learned English where you put capital letter only in the beginning of a letter, or there is a noun or something like that. No, here they write N capital, small a big C, and a small L. What is this happening? I never knew symbols and all because I never studied science. So every day the professor used to say, Padmavati, get out. That's the first thing you will do. So I said, fine, get out. Now get out. And like Ekalavya used to stand outside the class and write everything. But I didn't understand anything. So what is written, I don't know. There's no tuition. They're not very rich or any such thing. Secondly, you can't stay back in the library. Because the rule is, in those days, girls come back home after sunset, before sunset. You can't stay back in the library. Okay. Now what do you do? If you have to stay back, your brother or father will come and pick you up. You have to tell them beforehand. Otherwise, it's not possible. But there is an angel came in. Why I'm telling this in any way is to tell people when there are problems, there are solutions also. It is not that, oh, I'm down with problems. There was another teacher called Professor Matrusa, when he's a Kashmiri. One day he called me, what is wrong with you, Padma? You don't know anything. The first time somebody asked me, what is your problem? No? Nobody ever asked me this question. So I didn't know how to answer, but I told him English, economics, history. That I knew 5 subjects name. He said, what? I said, English, economics, history, Tamil, Sanskrit. He said, what is this subject? He said, you don't know science. I said, no science. He said, Bapre. And he said, okay. He taught from that day, A for argon, B for boron, and I got a distinction in chemistry, in pre-medical. It is all because...
And was it pre-medical those days for a year or 2 years?
See, if you have science, without botany, and that's 2 years for them. For them, it is 2 years. If you have botany with your physics, chemistry, it is 1 year. Even in those days, the 12th class, what you call now 12th class, the same thing. But here I didn't learn anything, leave alone botany. Biology, the physics, chemistry, biology, everything is a big zero. Nothing was known. But it was great. He taught me. I'm ever grateful to Professor Matru sir, and the best. He didn't charge a naya paisa. आजकल ट्यूशन मैंने 1000 रुपया निकाला 300 एक पैसा नहीं चार्ज किया. What a great teachers they were. That is what I wanted to bring out. And if you work somewhere, some help will come to you. Don't give up at any point of time. If you have taken it up, see to the end that you do it and you succeed in it. It was a sort of a great surprise to everybody. In Delhi board, I'm the first one who was changed from arts to science. And I don't know afterwards
Yeah.
anybody changed or not. I really don't know.
Oh, it's so difficult to do that, ma'am. But I think I'm sure our viewers and those who are listening would love to listen to this other very incredible phase of your life. That is very soon after becoming a doctor, very soon after wearing the Air Force uniform. And allow me to show that slide of yours, which I think will make us all very proud. And that photograph, which is very soon after you made this brilliant transition from being a medical student to being a flight surgeon, as you said, from surgeon to flight surgeon. Tell us about this period of your life. And this is, of course, before the 71 war. We'll come to the war later. But there is this lovely photograph of yours also of being with your husband. But initially, just talk us through about this part of how was it to wear your uniform for the first time and then go on towards serving in the first location, the first posting that you had. Tell us about the joy of wearing your uniform as a commissioned officer and going to your first location.
Well, when we passed out of Armed Forces Medical College, we had the choice to choose between Army, Navy, and Air Force. In FMC, we knew only about Army. We didn't know anything about Air Force and Navy, hardly any. But I liked Air Force right from the very beginning, not because of anything. Army तो ओजी पहन के चलता रहता है, nothing much. The Navy वाला पानी में डूबा रहता है, दिखता ही नहीं है. The Air Force वाला कम से ऊपर उठता है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है when he does that spins and turns and all that, बहुत अच्छा लगा. So I said, okay, I'm going to join Air Force if I get it. And number two was I wanted to be a fighter pilot myself. I said, okay, only if I join. In those days, there was doctors were trained as fighter pilots. One doctor. Okay. I said, fine. If I get into Air Force, I can get a fighter pilot also. And more importantly, I feel as a doctor in the armed forces, I should be with the force, not sitting in a hospital. If I was in the army, in the uniform of the army, I would have been an army. I would have been most happy doing that job because I'll be with the soldier, I'll be with the officer to find out what's happening. So if I join Air Force, I should be with the pilots. That is where I'm there. So I should become a flight surgeon. That was my way of looking at it, doing the seva for the nation. So first I joined Air Force. Promptly I went for my medical, for my fighter flying. Well, I was unfit. My height is little too short for a fighter pilot, but it was okay for a normal AMC officer, but it was not fit for a fighter pilot. Fine, agreed. If you are medically unfit, you are unfit. There are no two ways arguing about it. I said, fine. The next best job is to be a flight surgeon. Well, again, I'm the first there. Nobody wanted me there. My teachers felt very cheated. They thought of me becoming a cardiologist or something here and that. I said, no, I want to become an aviation guy so that I'm with the pilot. I want to know their problems. I want to improve. Those days, it was not supersonic aircraft. They were subsonic aircraft. Even then, there were so many problems. But for that, if I choose aviation medicine, I should know what is happening. So I have to fly with them. But the photo which you saw there is a MiG-25. That's a trisonics which flies very high in the space to find out the effect of hypoxia, then day and night situations. That is in the trisonics, that is MiG-25. But otherwise...
And where were your first posting, ma'am?
First posting was in a hospital, Punjab, Halwara, 9 Halwara. That was my first posting.
And the other interesting part is about the time that you soon after also saw the nation had gone to war with Pakistan, and very soon not only did that phase happen, but another incredible thing happened soon after the war, that you and your husband, and we'd like to hear a little bit about how you met him, where you met him. But both of you were awarded a VSM, a Vishesh Seva Medal, in the same parade, which I've never heard of anywhere in the military, anywhere across the world. I've served in the United Nations and with 35 countries. But tell us about this whole phase of the 71 war, meeting your husband, and then being honored by the VSM in this parade. It'll be wonderful to hear about that.
First, I'll talk about the 71 war. Uh, Even I was also a foolish person. I didn't know about war and all that. But you all know you may not know, the students, youngsters, war started in December, but we were all preparing for nearly 1 year. And our station was, I was living in underground bunkers for the last 6 months. I had a son by that time, who was about 9 months old. When I sent him away, he was 3 months old. Why I'm repeating is, I'm also a mother. But when the duty comes, when your nation comes, that is foremost. All the other activities take a backstage. So he went away. We were living, he went to my brother-in-law at Kolya. And me, I was living in my group, that is the doctor's group, near the hospital. My husband was living in the engineer's group, in the airport, in the runway, in the technical area, what we call it. He was living there. We hardly met. I was the only one who had the special privilege of going home for my hair wash. We got a huge lamba balte. So the only station commander allowed me. Nobody could go home. We were all in our own this thing. No? Before war, the bunker life was wonderful. No problem. I don't have to cook. सुबह चाय enamel mug में इतना बड़ा चाय मिलता था, खाना मिलता था. वाह रे वाह, बहुत अच्छा. Now the war started. We were preparing. We knew what is going to happen. We were trained for that. And on third night, if I'm remembering correctly, 7:30 or 7 p.m. It was December, 3rd December. Well, when we got out of the bunker, we saw it was almost like that anar going, no, everywhere like Akka guns were firing. But hey, Bhagwan, what has happened? Then we realized they bombed all the airfields, right from Pathankot, Adampur, Halwara, Agra, Ambala, a whole lot. Same in the eastern sector also. Western sector and the eastern sector. It went on for almost half an hour or 1 hour. Then Madam Indira Gandhi, she came on, in those days it was only All India Radio. She said, the war is on. That's all she said. That was 3rd December. But in those
3rd of December 1971.
1971. Okay. So then, what do we do? We are all ready. Then it had become a non-family station. I must tell, non-family station means no ladies, no children, nothing of that sort in the camp. Okay, I'm the only lady in the whole camp, but I'm an officer. I'm a doctor. I'm an officer. Other than that, all the ladies were put either in some other place or sent to their hometowns. Only officers and men were. Nobody else was there. So now we start, but we went to the ORP. When I was asked to go to report to the ORP. ORP means Operation Readiness Platform, where the pilots are getting ready. In those days, we didn't have that night flying capabilities and all that. So we used to wait. They had to wait. They were all ready to go like this. But the only problem was that sunlight was not on. You have seen that picture in a border. Subhe nahi ho raha, that pilot is saying. The first light, the sunlight should come. Then only you can take off. Now it is not so. So the sunlight came and it took off. But in 2 days, comes up. We had the air superiority, what we call air superiority, meaning we did very well. But what happened to my side of this thing? I was wearing the sari. I was given a pistol also, actually, for self-defense. Okay, the siren is to go every 3rd minute. Then you have to go underneath something. Whether it's a 3-tonner or 4-tonner. Why I'm explaining this is for my youngsters. So going underneath with the sari, it is extremely difficult. And then that there's the lighter side of the story. The pistol is to poke through the petticoat. So I went to the station commander. I told him, sir, I don't want the pistol. He said, Acha. He understood. He didn't say anything. Go and change your uniform. That's all he said. That's the end of the story. So I went on into the pant shirt uniform because that's more comfortable in a war scenario. You can't wear a sari and fight a war. It's not possible, is it? Anyway, it was very nice of him. The third day, we had 200 patients. Ours was the first hospital for Army, Navy, Air Force, everything put together. The first field hospital. The rest were all MRO type. That was not much. We triaged the patient and then give the first aid, and depending upon the injuries and all that, we did that and then send them back because we need the force. We can't put everybody in the hospital. But the fourth day was bad. For the 200 patients who came in, there were about 20 or 22 who had fractures with infection climbing up almost up to their thighs. They were having severe fever and all that. I couldn't wait. The surgical specialist was to come from Bangalore, and he was still coming. He came, he came and came and came. He never came. That's it. So now what do? I have to take a decision. You can't let him die. Whatever it is, I know medicine at least. During my internship, I learned a little bit of surgery. I said, take God's name. I did amputations also. I'm not a surgeon. I'm not an orthopedics guy. I just have 2 years experience in a field hospital. That's it. But they all survived because I followed them up to Army, that artificial limb center at Pune. They're all grateful to me also. 20 or 22, around that much, not more than that. But that was a big job for me because I'm not a surgeon. To do that was very, very tough. I think 100 times, will I do it? Will I not do it? Will I be capable of doing it? Because I'm not trained like that. But anyway, it's God's grace. They all survived. And that was the reason. With 2 years service to get the Visishta Seva Medal. And my husband's side, being an engineer, they repaired that, the same runway. Overnight, the runway was repaired, and the next day, aircraft could take off. That was the reason. These were the two important reasons. We contributed. So that was a reason for the Visishta Seva Medal together. So,
Ma'am, just
now
so
coming to the
amazing that
next
soon
question
after.
of how I met him. I
Yeah.
met him in Bangalore. An Air Force officer. I'm also an Air Force officer. That's it. So I still don't know. But we decided to get married within 10 days. That much I know. I don't know what are the reasons. If you ask me, I have no answers. But I suppose it happens like that. I really don't know. Nothing was hanky.
Maybe we would like to know the Tamil young lady and the Bengali young man who asked who to marry first.
I don't know. I really don't know the answer. But first, this was okay. Then both the sides fought. My side fought naturally. It was unheard of in the 77 generation, forget 7 generation. How an Iyer girl is going to marry a Bandopadhya. They didn't know what Bandopadhya meant. Because we're pure, the South Indian style. And there they didn't know what Madras is. And on top of it, a Fauji, hey Bhagwan. That's too much. Faujis are not to trust. So it was something like
Fauji
that.
lady.
So it was difficult. It was not difficult, but a lot of give and take is there. That is, but that is there in everywhere. It is not so simple. Even if you match every horoscope in the world, if you match everything, there's so many things you have to adjust in life. You say so. It's all part of life, but it was good. I learned a lot. My first MD was an MD in Bengali. I mean, the language, the culture, the cooking, everything. That's my first MD. Okay. Then there's little problem on food, because we are the pure vegetarian brand and this is a pure non-vegetarian brand. Oh, these are small little things. It can be worked out, provided you have trust in one another, you believe in one another, then it can all work out. Nothing is impossible. And I think we had a fantastic life. I mean, nobody, how Fauji life is. He's the one who has encouraged me in doing so many things. I'm known to be the lady of many first. I get all the applauses right now also. But the person who was behind me was my husband all the time encouraged. It's not that I'm the only first. There could have been many firsts before also. But then many of the lady doctors who were there in Fauj, they left after 4 years, 5 years. They didn't continue because the family was not, comfortable with that. They were in the civil justice. But here was a man who encouraged me to study, who encouraged me to go to North Pole, who encouraged me to do DSSCs, Defense Service Staff College. These are not easy things. But when I do something, he has to look after the family. It's not that simple. It is the whole thing has to go together. So I mean, I have no words to express my gratitude. We had ups and downs. It was not hanky dory. अप्स एंड डाउन तो सबके होता है तभी तो पता लगता है जिंदगी क्या है तभी तो मजा आता है जिंदगी का दैट्स हाउ इट इज इट
And through all this journey, since I've also done uniform for many years, we know that ladies were permitted in the army for the first time only in the AFMC to become doctors. It took many, many, many years for them to then join the non-combat arms and the services. And now, of course, there is this tremendous movement of lady officers going to the National Defense Academy, and this is going to be the first year that they will go after school. Then they will go on, of course, to maybe combat arms. So in your entire time in uniform, in this nearly all-male environment, how was that atmosphere for you? Was it threatening? Was it difficult? Was it lonely? How did you find this atmosphere? And I'm sure you were, there was not enough company, female company, etc. Sometimes. So how did you find that environment while working?
Working environment, excellent. Why I say so? I'm a doctor, so that way there was a lot of respect and there's no problem. But when it comes to social life, yes, there is a slight distance because I'm the first and the most of the time I was the only lady in the station, only lady doctor. Naturally, only aviation guy. Oh, I forgot to tell you one thing. I must tell you. It is not only, I'm in uniform. So we both did very well. We got a BSM. One thing I must tell here, the ladies of Punjab, why I keep talking about Punjab is the normal housewives. Okay, they were nothing. They used to sit outside their villages and वो क्या बोलता है हिंदी में छत्रधारी paratroopers. When they came down, they used to take a danda and beat them and get them to Air Force Station. They need not do it. They are not getting any VSM for that. But how great they were. That's what I'm trying to say. The men folk were doing the civil duty, but whereas the women were catching the paratroopers. They were not in uniform. Uniform people were very...
You're talking about the enemy paratroopers.
Yeah, the Pakistani paratroopers were dropped. They were catching them. Danda leke peet ke liye aaye the. Isn't that great of our ladies? That is what is the nation, the love for the nation they had.
Yeah, tell us about Punjab and Punjabis. I remember you mentioning how much you sort of admired them.
Yeah, I really admired them. At least the time I went in, Punjab was a living example of how we can progress from very well. Number one, hard working. They don't care. एक दिन एक बुड्ढा ओल्ड सरदार जी was going. उस दिन गुरु नानक बर्थडे समथिंग था. मैंने कहा बाबा आप गुरुद्वारा नहीं गए? He said नहीं बेटी काम पहले करना है. काम में गुरुद्वारा है. उसके बाद मैं गुरुद्वारा जाऊंगा. Whereas we do राम 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 and we don't know job at all. That's not correct. So karma you have to do first. No, I learned from him. Even old ladies, they keep on knitting, they put bed ka charpai banate hain. What all they do? No one waits, no one sits and waits at that time, And during war, it was fantastic. They were catching the Chatardharis, they used to call them Chatardhari, paratrooper. And in the morning, they will get me, not in dabba. Today you get mithai in dabba, You used to get in basket. Badam, Akrot, BBG, they never called me doctor. They used to call me BBG. So BBG they vaste. So much of mithai, what will I do? I used to give to the patients, all the people. But what I'm trying to say is what heart they had. Big heart. Helping everybody. Fauj ke liye to jaan dene ke liye taiyar the. That's why I love Punjab. I had almost 12 years. 4 different places, 3 years tenure. A wonderful time in Punjab. I really love them. But today it has changed a lot. Everywhere it has changed. So that is also changed. But that time where we were in, it was fantastic. No doubt on that.
Ma'am, one more. Let's go away from India and Punjab to another part of the world which so few people have ever been able to see. So before I ask you about it, let me just show our viewers this place that you've been to and tell us about how that happened and you know what is that experience like of going. That's you with the Air Chief Marshal, and this is, of course, the oxygen chamber. But I'd like you to tell us about the icy Arctic that you went to, and tell us about this part of your life. How did this happen? What was that journey about? How was the experience?
Okay. At that point of time, I was posted to DRDO unit, Defense Institute of Physiology and Allied Sciences, which is located at that time in Delhi Kant. We used to work for armed forces on various aspects. Now, this aspect came, what do we do with extreme cold? Well, we have cold. But the problem is, wherever we have cold in India, we have high altitude also. The cold is in high altitude areas, not in this is not cold. Okay, when our soldiers fight along with the UN forces, they could be anywhere in Siberia, they could be anywhere in Russia. What do they do? What should be their food? What should their clothing? Indians have a very funny habit. We like every food to be fresh. Even if it is dal bath, it should be nice and warm. We don't want food cold and taken out from the fridge and all that. So what do we do for them? How do we make them comfortable? So you could ask me the question, why not go to Siachen or somewhere? But no, there you have got a lot.
I'll tell you, I've had a stint at
Yeah,
Siachen, and you definitely get
yeah.
refrigerated food at Siachen. You don't need to put it into a.
You don't need anything that's a refrigerator itself. Oh, if you sincerely ask me, Siachen is 100 times tougher than North Pole. Believe in me, I've been there. Every winter I used to be there, 3 months in the winter, 5 years, while I was at Deep Pass. I can't put 10 steps. I used to go, I used to do that. I'm a healthy person. It's very tough to walk there, live there. Whereas here it was simple cold because it's sea level. Now, why did I go? Firstly, they got 1 in 3 with me. That is, I'm a doctor, I'm a physiologist, plus I'm a Fauji. Because there were 30 Sipais going there in the trip, Indian Sipais, selected from all over India, north, south, east, west, party, everything. But a civilian cannot control them. So we had our armed forces personnel. That's why I was there, already there. So they said, you have to come because I can command over them. They cannot. That was my one reason. Second, I'm a doctor come physiologist. They said you have to come, and I was not very keen because 6 months you are away. You have no connection with your family, not even a telephonic connection. Telephonic connection, kabhi once a month hota tha. Now, what do I do? It's very tough. But they said, no. And my husband said, there's a chance you can work very well. Go and do it. That's why I said, how many people will say that, So anyway, he got all the, what you call, snow boots and snow clothing and all things like that. And finally, we went there. Oh my God. First, it was very funny. We landed at first is Russia, capital. Very nice, but immediately went to the local domestic airport. Oh my God, we're shivering. Not even a cup of tea. They all smoke. They don't drink tea. They're smoking. You see, अब क्या किया जाए? Now look around. Somebody was to come who's supposed to know English, to translate what we want to eat and all that. Finally, he came, Mr. Alexander. What English? He didn't know any English. In the process, I learned Russian. Anyway, I learned first word, Niyat Mamsha, no meat. So fine. So I had that bread and I ate the bread all right, no problem. भूख हुआ तो सब कुछ खा सकता मनुष्य, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So that we went. After that, we went to a place called Murmansk. Then we went in that jeep, with the tire of that Loha tire. The tires. We went to the point. It's almost touching North Pole. We were there. And what was the job? They had 30 Russian soldiers. We were 30 Indian soldiers. We were 6, scientists. 5 were scientists. I'm a doctor come scientist. They also had 6 scientists from Russia. We were working on their various parameters, physiological, biochemical, and psychological, all this. We went mad with first 15 days because there was no sun. It was all dark. All the time it is dark. Naturally, the summer, winter there. Without sunlight, we go crazy. All of us started doing ulta pulta things, but then we got used to it. Here I want to tell something. We 6 officers, we had been allotted 3 type of jobs. One is cooking food. Cooking food is what? Nothing. That DFL Mysore, that is Defense Food Research Laboratory, they had given us food. We had to
Pre-packed,
warm it. That's a food. And bread was
pre-cooked food which you just keep
pre-cooked
warm.
food. Bread was in plenty. It was hanging. Even meat was hanging because they don't need a fridge. The whole thing is a fridge. The normal temperature is minus 35 to 40, and if there is a wind, then it may come up 45 to 50 also, minus 50. But it doesn't matter. After minus 10, you don't even feel cold. It's okay. You get used to it so much, it just doesn't matter. You look at the children, they throw ice on one another and play. Like we throw muddy on one another and play. Same thing like that.
You spend,
It
ma'am, you spent six months there. You spent 6 months on the trot,
on the trip.
and with hardly any communication back home.
No, once a
Maybe
month they used to
you
connect to some army line, and people have to collect at army headquarters in South, in Delhi. That army.
and were you doing experiments there?
Yeah, we
Was
were
the
doing
team doing
experiments. And that
on the body?
we experimented on what food they have to eat, what clothing they have to wear, and what sort of exercise they have to do. Because in cold, if you don't exercise, finished. You got to work every day, and we all had duties assigned to each one of us. Two of us, group officers were one, and I had one lucky bit, that is, being a doctor. I was looking after patients in a nearby hospital. That was, I didn't know at that time because there was a lot of security reasons and all that. So anyway, that was a mining area. They had a lot of lung problems, so I used to look after them. But one of those days when I was coming back, I'm the only lucky person who has seen it in that experiment. When I was coming back, the the car driver stopped. And he said something in Russian. I said, hey, Bhagwan, where have I come? That maybe I'll just dump somewhere in the cold and he'll go away. What is happening? Then he showed something on top. Oh, I saw Aurora Borealis. Nobody has seen the Northern Lights. It was such a fantastic.
Oh my
It
God!
was. I'm very
Wow.
lucky to have seen it. Hardly anybody has seen it, and so like my people there behind, they didn't see. I said they were all very jealous of me. I said, yes, I'm doing a good job looking at the patients. That's why I saw the Northern Lights. You didn't see that because you don't do that good
Fantastic.
job. It was very good. 6 months, we learned a lot. In finality, what it is, we people can adjust. Second, it takes about 15 days for a healthy man to get used to the cold and start his normal duties. But it is not something which you live with. It is not a adaptation, it's an acclimatization. The minute you come back to Delhi, in another 10 days, it will go away. Now, the side remark of the whole thing is, now you can all laugh. When we came back, like they show in Fair and Lovely, I became 2 shades fair, because there's no sunlight there. So you become fair. So it was nice. It was a great,
It's a little hard work to get fair by
very
going to the
tough,
North
but
Pole
it
and
was a
spending 6 months
experience.
of your time.
And
But it's but coincidentally at the same time that you were in the North Pole, I was at Siachen, and maybe some of the experiments you did food and what you can eat there helped us to
yeah,
survive
we did
at
all that.
21,000
And
feet.
you got a high altitude pulmonary edema and all that. We started the nitrous oxide. The experimental nitrous oxide, I worked on it and we came up. Now the hospitals are all using it. Whenever a chap comes with a pulmonary edema, we give nitrous oxide. That was a result of not poor, my high altitude work, both on the eastern sector and the western sector. We found out nitrous oxide helps. That in 1962, our debacle was because of the high altitude pulmonary edema and cerebral edema. We were not acclimatized.
That's it.
So
That's
this we found out this, and we found out 5 layers of clothing, which helps in protection. But one should be normal cotton. Then there should be air resistant, water resistant, specificities like that. That type of clothing. You don't need a big fat coat. You need 5 layers of clothing. You put a huge coat,
that's
you can't do
because
anything.
Because the air pockets inside,
The
right?
air keeps
Because the air
moving,
pockets are
not
very
anything else.
less.
It is really great, and people are very nice. The Russians were also very helpful, but we are as good as them after about 50 days. That's the final, which we wanted to find out. Can we do it? Or and I'll add one more line. Maybe I'm very what you call proud or not correct, whatever. The two guys who went from south part of to this experiment, they did the best. Okay, one was from Kerala and one was from Tamil Nadu. But we didn't know the answer. We expected the Pahadi chap to do much better than the south guy. Then we came up with our own explanation. Maybe cross acclimatization, because they're used to hot, humid climate. Maybe they got used to this. But I do not know the answer. But our people got acclimatized all right within 15 days. That was the answer for that. It was very nice
Right.
experience.
Ma'am, there's another icon of our times for somebody, I think all of us in India so loved him. There is this wonderful experience that you have of having not only met him, received an award from him, but I think uh, you've also shared some professional work relationship. So we'd like to hear about the time that you spent with Dr. Abdul Kalam and our beloved president. So do tell us about him. And this is your PVSM award by the President of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam, which everyone is seeing right now. This is so fortunate, firstly, so well deserved, but imagine getting it from Dr. Abdul Kalam.
Yeah.
So do tell us about the time
Yeah, well,
that you
it
got
was
to
the
talk to
best
him.
time. I was a wing commander. As I told you, I was posted to Defense Institute of Physiology, and he was the SA, scientific advisor at that point of time. What a great personality! He will you put up any project. फौज में तो 50 बार में तो एक project में नहीं निकलता. Any project, any amount, he will sanction it. He will never stop it. But every month, he will ask you to come over, discuss the project, where you are, how much progress you have made, and he will, and that too not in working hours. After the working hours are finished, he used to say somewhere, I don't remember, he used to walk on the lawns, he will discuss the project, he will assess for himself by kaam kiya ki nahi, and in 3 months, if he thinks that you have not done the project properly, you have not done it, he will cancel the project, as simple as that, not waste government money. And he's a great Veena player. He spoke in Tamil most of the time. He will, guitar he knew that, absolutely better than me. And he always used to tell me, after your retirement, you must work for ladies and work on cervical cancer, cover ladies, very poor, can't afford the medical treatment and all that. You're a lady doctor, you must do it. Plenty of times he told me these things, I remember. And that PVSM, I'll tell you the lighter side of the story. As usual, the army briefed me, you will only salute, you will not extend your hand. If he extends his hand, then you will do shake hand, otherwise you will not do it. Okay, you will salute, take the thing, and again salute, and about turn and come back. This was done 15 times rehearsal. Okay, done. So when I went up to see my son, then he said, Doctor, eppadi irukema, all that in Tamil. I also talked to him. Actually, when President talks to me, I can't say, no, Brigadier I was told not to talk. So it was great fun. So when they came back, he was so angry. He said, why did you talk so much? I said, I didn't talk. He was talking to me. I can't stop it, isn't it? So he knows I worked with him. It was a pleasure working with him. Every small detail he knew. The project workers don't know, but he knew every project which is sanctioned. He knew it, he worked on it, and he either cleared it or stopped it. Didn't waste the government's money for 3 years and then say, hell with you. No, it's not like that. He was so good, and didn't do it in the office time also. After office time, we were walking in the lawn and discussing the project. 24 hours, he must have worked 20 hours a day. That was the gentleman. What a simple life he had. Wonderful. It's a pleasure and an eye-opener to work with such great personalities. I still remember him. I still regard. It's great, absolutely great personality.
Ma'am, you yourself have been such an incredible leader. You're a air marshal, you're a doctor, you've been to such incredible places. But in terms of all the leadership that you have learned and seen, and also been with people like Dr. Abdul Kalam and so many senior people, what sort of broad lessons on leadership would you like to share with us? What are the fundamentals of leadership and what has worked for you, what you've observed in other people, which could be valuable for us as younger people who are listening to you?
Basically, you know very well, we have a hierarchy system in Fauj. It's okay. It is needed in the armed forces, very much needed. But we also should know if a chap is not doing to that, what is his problem? Why is it not doing it? Have we? I mean, we should look into even one chap. If we do it, then it will go into the squad or wherever we are. Oh, this person, I mean, boss is thinking about us. He's working for us. He will do doubly more work than what we can expect. Like every birthdays or whatever, I used to call them. First thing was wishing them a happy birthday, a cup of tea with them, and just asking how you are. Naturally, they are not going to air marshal every problem, but if there is a serious problem, even the corporal will come out. So once he says that, speak to the people, try to sort out if possible. That's very essential. Even our men और हमारे बच्चे हैं उनका हम देखभाल नहीं करेगा तो who will look after them? Yes, if they do a mistake, punish them. There's no doubt on that. But we have to be that is agreed. That is because we are in uniform. You can't say कि चलने दो वो कोर्ट में केस डालेगा वो सब नहीं चलता. But if there is a problem, it is our duty, somehow or the other, through the official or non-official channel, find out, because they cannot come to us because we have the hierarchy. A corporal will not walk into an air marshal's room. He will, shiver. He will not get in. So that is why I made it birthday, something, so that he feels comfortable. You see, this is how it works, and I didn't differentiate between. I saw it, everybody commented also on me. I'm a lady doctor. But I don't like this कि हम duty नहीं करेगा because this is a part of our job. Each one of us have to do it. By rotation. So when some lady says I will not do this problem, I said everybody has problem. Who doesn't have a problem? If you own a uniform, unless there is a really some valuable excuse, do not give lame excuses. That's all about it. What are they talking? We didn't have maternity leave also nowadays. We had children, we had children, we brought them up, everything done. So it's the way you look at life. If you think everything is tough, it's tough. If you think everything can be done, it can be done. There's no problem at all. It is the way you take life as, I mean, that's what I feel. So the lady doctor is very uncomfortable with me. ऐसे सबको TDs जाना है, temporary duty जाना ही पड़ेगा, सबका routine होता है. These are all part of our service life. You have to do it. So that's it. So I always found.
No, I think. Sorry, I'm just saying that those are such wonderful lessons for everyone. That firstly, that duty is paramount, and it's a great lesson also for so many of the young people who are joining the army, and so many women now will join the National Defence Academy, and not expecting exceptions because of the fact that you're a woman or you're something else. But I think that's a great lesson. Also, it's the way you see things, right? If you're happy and see it in a lofty, big way, life's going to be the way it is for you. And it's wonderful that you share these two really, really nice lessons on leadership. Ma'am, through all this, you also raised two wonderful children. So how do you spend time with your children? Both of you were in the Air Force and still give them a great education. How did you balance all these things? A lot of working women, professionals, you've lived a career in the military. How do you manage this balance?
You know it very well. After office hours in the evening, we have parties almost every day. For me, it is very essential also. It is not that it is not essential. Now, I told them two things are very important. That is, one is खाना पीना होना है, second health होना है. School तो central school है. They always studied in central school. Camp is very safe. Nobody is going to abduct you. So these two are looked after. Safety, security, schooling is looked after. What you have to look after is health and khana pina. Okay, very simple. Many a times, I mean, most of the times we were alone because they were never posted together. Even if we ever were posted together, we used to go on temporary duties, which is very common for all of us. The junior officers have to go on TDs, very clear, standard instructions. If we are, both of us are not there, or if I'm not there when I'm alone, I mean, when father is not posted there, please go to the mess, sign, and take the food. Simple. But aunties are there who is to look after also. If no auntie is there, then please go. Don't wait. Don't look here. Mama nahi hai, papa nahi hai. It doesn't work. I mean, if your mama and papa, you are proud to say she is the doctor, then you have to take this. Similarly, the doctory part. If they fell sick, I said every uncle is as good as me. So please go to the MI room, report. They will give the same medicines. They will do better medicines than me. In case there's something very serious, they'll send you to the hospital. When they send you to the hospital, they'll tell me that I sent your son to hospital. Then I'll speak to the specialist and find out. If need be, I'll come there. But don't wait for chota mota ki mama aake karegi. No, mama nahi karegi. Apne aap jaake MI room jayega, report karega, and dawai lega. Everybody does that. What's so great? You have to learn these things, I mean, you have to become independent, as simple as that, you say. So that's how it carried on, no? And when we were at home, we used to, my job, I'm a doctor. So morning 7:30, 1:30 is a regular thing. Then come back home, teach the elder one, then go for the evening rounds, then night flying, then emergencies. It's a whole night duty. It is not something I come back and that's it. It's a way of life. If you consider, it is tough. If you don't consider as tough, it is not tough. Then the days when you are not on duty or on duty, there are parties. It's all part of life. So the elder one is to teach the younger one. Then after their homework finished, they used to go and play. Nobody is going to update them. So I'm very happy. So this is what I made them be independent right from day one. Khana messe kao. आंटी तो खिलाते थे, सभी आंटी खिलाते थे, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. ऐसा कभी हुआ मेस में जाके साइन कर दो, नो प्रॉब्लम. उसके बाद डॉक्टर ही तो एमआई रूम है ही है, व्हाई बॉदर. इट्स वेरी सिंपल. आई मीन वी फील कि ओनली मदर एंड फादर कैन डू इट. इफ यू जस्ट ट्रेन देम, दे विल लुक आफ्टर देमसेल्व्स. बट वी हैव वन बिग एडवांटेज. आवर स्टेशंस आर सिक्योर. We don't have to worry that our children will be kidnapped. That gives you the biggest satisfaction, peace. Civil area में बहुत.
I think the military station and university campuses are wonderful places for children to grow up because they are secure. They have a very large home. They can drive and cycle and go anywhere. And it's also great to hear that your children, I think one went to AIMS and one is an engineer, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, IIT Kanpur. And both of them, the teachers and the coaching classes, the parents.
Wow.
You know how much we used to earn. We couldn't afford all those things, okay? They are central school.
They used to teach and they used to earn money. So it's fantastic to hear that.
They were Air Force scholarship holders, NTC scholarship holders. I mean, we are the teachers, coaching or whatever you call it, Well, and we were in field areas, The schools are also not very good. ठीक है. असम में असमी में पढ़ा था, पंजाब में पंजाबी में पढ़ा था. सो व्हाट, घर में आके इंग्लिश में पढ़ाओ ना, अपने आप को भी अच्छा लगता है, याद आता है. इट्स ओके. इट्स अ वे यू टेक लाइफ. You can live all the time, you can enjoy all the time. That's what it is. So
Ma'am, there are a few questions I think people are posting. I think one of them we partially talked about, but Anshul Sharma is asking, what are your thoughts about Supreme Court's decision to open doors for women in the NDA?
I totally agree. Okay. Now, that warfare is not physical. It's not much of a boosting nahi laga rahe hain koi. It's very much technical. Now, Navy and Air Force are taking people from JME. They want technical this thing, and it's not very far. Army is also going to do that in NDA. Okay, it's still not there, but it will come up. It's highly technical. Armed forces is becoming highly technical. In that situation, what separates men and women? I just want to know, because I have worked in the field. Yes, they are less powerful, when muscular power, not the intellectual power. It's all the same. And if something is there, the brother officers are there supporting something. But more than NDA, I would say, why did it take so much time? we were there. Before that, the nursing houses were there for many, at least 200 years before they were in uniform. But why did not it come up? It took almost 300 years for NDA to open. That's because the mentality of the people have not changed. Today, more and more women are coming up there accepting it also. This was not there. Even for my marriage, no, should I say that? No, Ayat Brahmin came up. Oh God, a Fauji, no way. So that is that. That's how the mentality was there, Today it is saying women are working, women are doing well in any field and in most of the fields, So, and there is a big comradeship between us. You see, a Fauji is a Fauji. We're all brother officers or sister officers, whatever we call it, okay? So why should you think that something is going to go wrong as if it's nothing is happening in the civil life? Everywhere things are happening, whereas ours is far better. We have a disciplined life, and more women come up. I mean, no, I'm not saying everybody should come up. I'm only saying those who want to come, those who are medically and physically and psychologically fit, should not be stopped. And if they do well, they'll let them do well. If I can do well, anybody can do well, equally well. But if they don't do well, throw them out. Simple. As simple as that.
Wonderful, ma'am. I think we have only a few more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes. So, and there was an earlier question, but I like to put it for a little minutes later. I like all the audience who are watching you to see this clip, which will make us also feel so proud of what you've done in your life. So I like to share this little clip with everyone. This is about your trip to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which we see often on television, but we're going to see you receiving this momentous award.
Air Marshal Dr. Shrimati Padma Bandopadhya, PVSM, AVSM, VSM, Sevanivrit, Chikitsa. Doctor.
That must have been an amazing experience, ma'am. How to receive the Padma Shri after you finished your service for something which I think a lot of people are going to now ask, what did you do? But how was that feeling? And describe those moments to us.
It was a real pleasant surprise. Actually, I still remember somewhere around 24th of Jan 20, there was a phone call, Delhi number. But I never replied because I didn't pick up because I don't know the number. That was the reason. So on 25th night, that it was scrolling, that Padma Award or something like that. हिंदी में आ रहा था, some हिंदी न्यूज में मेरा नाम आया. बता रहे, I don't understand. When I get excited, I गड़बड़ समझता है. So I called my son. ये क्या लिखा बताओ तो पढ़ो. So he said, मम्मा तुमको पद्मश्री मिला. मतलब वाह रे वाह, हमें पता ही नहीं था. It was really a real surprise. I didn't know anything about it, and I was wondering initially, as you said, फौज का तो सब अवार्ड मिल गया, EVSM, PVSM सब मिल गया. How can I get a civilian award? Hardly any Fauji gets it, So I was wondering. So then, but then I realized I have not applied because nowadays there's no application. Anyway, I never thought of permission or anything. I never thought of it. This Padma award is not, never even dreamt of it, except that my name is Padma. Other than that, I never dreamt of it. So I said, okay. Now, then I realized later, I'm doing telemedicine medical service, looking after the far-flung areas of Eastern UP, the primary medical care. Initially, I used to do it after my retirement. I do it about 4 days a week. Nowadays, I do it for 3 days a week when I get tired. From 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I'm busy, almost 80, 90 patients to see. But it is good. It keeps you busy, plus you're contributing something to the nation, seva. Seva parmo dharma, they say, the biggest dharma is doing seva. Maybe that people have recommended me. I really, even today, I do not know how it has happened. There's I teach children here. This big poor children I teach. Maybe that, I don't know. But government has been very kind to give a Padma Shri award. I'm extremely thankful. It is you feel like on the top of the world. And the Air Force motto, Navas Vasha Deepam, I really felt like that, touching the sky with glory. That's what it was. But I still don't know I got it. Maybe that.
But it's so amazing that it's not just your life in uniform, but the fact that you've continued to practice. Someone did ask that question, ma'am, do you still see patients? That way you're lucky. It's, uniform people. Otherwise, I can't go to war. But as a doctor, you can still practice medicine and do good to people. So people were asking about that. And that's how the government recognized the fact that you've continued to serve people.
Great feeling.
There are a few more, many questions actually. Someone's asking, you are a true inspiration, ma'am. Just love your energy, enthusiasm and passion at this age. Along with my family, really enjoyed hearing about your journey. That's Vinny Mathur. And proud of you as always, Bodhi, says Shashi Banerjee.
Thank you. Thank you, Shashi.
And she's also very much part of the Shivnada Foundation.
Bodhi is her sister-in-law. Eldest Bhabi. Bhabi is Bodhi, Bengali.
Lovely. And of course, Rohit is asking, how do you feel about first women Rafale fighter jet pilot Shivangi Singh being part of the Indian Air Force tableau at the Republic Day celebration?
You should have come earlier. I'm an aviation specialist. I have done a lot of studies between male and female comparison. I was unfit fighter flying, that's a separate issue. But otherwise, if you're a little taller girl, about 5'6" and all that, if other conditions are okay, medical fit, what stops them? They should have come. I have been writing in all my projects. There is no differentiation except that if they fulfill a medical condition. That applies to the male also. If the male doesn't fulfill a medical condition, he is also not fit for a fighter pilot. Same here. So they did accept it because that time India was not prepared for this, the sanskar. Even today, there is still there. Many people will not be accepting it, but it is a slow change. The change has to come in. You cannot sit in parda. You have to move ahead. It will take time, but it doesn't matter. At least it has happened, And I'm very proud. Avani is there, Bhavana is there, Mohana is there. I've been talking to them also. We are quite close to one another. It is a pleasure. I wanted this to happen almost 30 years back, but it has happened now. And it is only the floodgate is open now. There more and more to be there, and it will be a good thing to have. Yeah. But they should be medically fit. That is, and psychologically and physically fit. That is most important. We cannot relax rules for anyone. If fit, fine. That's it.
True. I think that is a wonderful statement that, competence must always be the topmost things that we consider. It's not about gender, sex and equality. It's about competence for the role. If you're competent, it should not matter whether you're male, female or whatever. So I think that's so important to do. That message is so important. There's Rehana who's saying, thank you for sharing such a wonderful journey. Do you mind sharing the life just after your marriage? How did you balance before and after marriage? Did you ever compromise with any of your wishes? What about your in-laws?
Yeah, now I'll tell you some jokes. My in-laws, right after my marriage, I came with my in-laws. Okay, because my husband was not posted. He came almost after 1 year. By the time my posting was through, that's what happens in Fauj. It's okay. So we used to speak 4 languages. My father-in-law and mother-in-law spoke in Bengali. My mother-in-law spoke to me in Hindi. Whatever Hindi I knew. My father-in-law spoke to me in English, and my mother spoke to me in Tamil. So everybody used to look at us. It's okay. Now the family life starts here. Now they don't have tea. What funny thing? I mean, to me it was extremely funny. I mean, I'm born and brought up with coffee. I have chai bhi nahi milega. Oh. So I told my father-in-law, I have to have tea at least. He said, okay, only 1 cup is authorized for you. So that 1 cup tea, my mom will come, Amma give me some. So I said, what? If I give my 1 cup ka half de do, mera half cup ho jayega. No. So I made another cup for her. Poor father-in-law didn't know what to do. So he kept quiet. The best was, we went, calling on the station commander, isn't it? We have that ritual. So I asked the adjutant, my husband is not here. Can I call on with my father-in-law? He said, you please come with your father-in-law. Very good. So we went there. My father-in-law was professor of physics at Banaras Hindu University. Now, my poor station commander didn't know, leave alone physics, nothing. Okay, now, he's a fighter pilot, okay? So, and he was the one who became Air Chief. Very nice gentleman, Air Chief Marshal Dilbagh Singh. Later he became the ambassador of some kind. Very nice gentleman. Oh, Babuji. He drowned that whatever whiskey and he gave lecture on physics. That poor man didn't know what to do. He didn't understand a word. Neither I understand. It was great fun. But both enjoyed their whiskey. To overcome the physics road, he drank a lot of whiskey. So I was enjoying both the fellows drunk. It was great fun. None of them understood one another. No? Then it was good fun. Then one day came some puja. He said, you have to eat fish. I said, I never eat fish. I mean, I'm a pure vegetarian brand. But then I never go fighting with anybody. I said, Babuji, we call Babuji, like the UP walas, because they are from Varanasi. So we call them Babuji. I called him Babuji. I said, and he said, okay. That fish को छोटा सा एक गोली बना देगा टैबलेट माफी गोली दे दो हम उसको swallow कर देगा हो गया fish खा लिया. So fish was eaten and that job. Otherwise fish नहीं खाए is a very big calamity in Bengali also. Why go for a big fight for all these things? So I ate fish. But look at the other side. When my parents came in, how much respect he had. If he had stored some chicken pada hai to fridge mein, he used to throw away everything. Clean the fridge. Put Ganga Jal also. We used to say, Panditji, there's a mutual respect was there. To me, I had to do all that, but to my parents, they had all respect. Unki alag bartan tha, not the non-vegetarian cooking, the other bartans were there. So this mutual respect, they had one another. If you learn, everybody is same. Our house is international integration. I'm a Madrasi supposed to be. Now I'm no more. My husband is a Bengali from UP. My elder daughter-in-law is a Punjabi from Sialkot. And my younger daughter-in-law is a French girl. We are all happily settled. No problem. Only thing is, when I go to US, she gives me orange juice first. That's all about it. Whereas I love coffee in the morning. That's all small things. That's all about it. So everybody is same. There is no difference. Yes, only thing is we think we are the best. That we should leave. Everybody is best. Everybody has got good. Everybody has got bad. It's okay. A human being have plus and minuses. So we understand one another and we learn from one another. It's so much better. And I think this is very essential for our country also. It's very, very essential. We should know it.
It's a wonderful thought, ma'am. It's something which I think all citizens of this country will do very well to remember that what makes you good or bad is who you are as a person and not some religious denomination or something else
religion,
that you follow.
Caste.
That's what the services and Forge has taught us also.
Exactly.
So it's a great message.
Why are we fighting unnecessarily?
I think we will end with this, with asking you this question. Manjuma Chatterjee is asking, what's the next thing on your wish list, ma'am?
My wish list, if everything is okay, as somebody said, I'm on the elderly side, but I want to work on two aspects. If possible, I don't know. One is, as much as possible, that give back eyesight, especially to children, because they have a whole life ahead. I mean, you may ask me, why not elders? elders, at least they are seen for some time this life, and with age you'll have cataract. Somebody may not be able to see. It's okay, at least वो 40 साल तो दुनिया देखा है, ये बच्चे ने कुछ भी नहीं देखा है. And what will happen later? This will become a beggar, and somebody will chorify him. It's sad. So my priority, if I can still do it, I'll find out and help these poor children get their eyes operated if need be, and restore their eyesight as much as possible. वो कुछ ABCD पढ़ के they can be on their legs. That is very, very important. Everyone should earn their roti, not beg for the roti. No, it's not correct. And you have the self-esteem कि मैंने अपना हाथ से बनाया ना किया है. This is one thing. Second is, what a shame. The whole world has eradicated tuberculosis. We have not done it. That is another field I would like to work along with the local CMO and all that. But let's see. Thinking is different, but will I be able to do? But if God gives me the strength, I'll definitely love to do it. This is my wish, to do something for the humanity if possible. That's all.
It's been absolutely wonderful listening to you, ma'am. I'd like you, after Shankara Raghav from the Student Council of the Shivnada University, we'd like to speak and probably do a vote of thanks. But it's been my absolute privilege, and I think it's been wonderful for the Shivnada University, for all of us who have had the privilege and the joy of listening to you.
Thank you so much.
About how to live a wonderful life and a meaningful life. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. So over to Shankara.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Shankara Raghav. I'm a third year economics student, part of the Shivnada University Student Council as the Secretary of Treasury. I believe I speak for all participants when I say that this session was duly informative and comes as a huge learning for all of us. I would like to thank Air Marshal Dr. Padma Bandopadhya, who found the time to join us and provide insights that we would not be able to gather from anywhere else. Dr. Padma Bandopadhya, a Padma Shri awardee, has displayed excellence in her discipline, brilliance in academics, and has set a wonderful example being a woman of many firsts. The session was delivered in a very enjoyable way, fitting for a post-Republic Day speech, and I'm sure everyone else loved it as well. I congratulate ma'am for her tremendous achievements and thank her once again for this beautiful session. A huge thank you to Colonel Gopal sir for speaking to us alongside ma'am and giving us some very valuable inputs along the way. I also thank the Shivnadar Foundation for bringing us yet another interesting session as part of the Eminent Speaker series. It's truly an honor to be sharing a virtual stage, even if any stage, with ma'am and sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
So let us end with Jai Hind. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
That's it. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We can go backstage.